Hello, my name is Jamie Smith with Jamie's Notebook, and we are going to try this recording here on Zoom instead of Facebook Live. I know we lose the live feature, but having a little bit of trouble with Facebook Live recording. So today what we wanted to talk about is the whole idea of scheduling your blog posts and how to do that and stay sane, stay organized, just kind of really keep up with what you're doing. And I'm actually going to talk about it from three different perspectives. The first is you need to establish a schedule of milestones. So for example, we're just going to continue to use the example of posting once a week. Let's just say Monday. Just for an example, say you want to post once a week on Monday, and then so what you need to do is you need to figure out who's going to be doing the writing, doing all the different milestones that you need to reach, and you need to schedule those. So say it has to publish Monday. So if I'm the only writer, I'm going to want to have the final thing, the final draft by Friday, so I can send it to the client so they can approve it. Or actually Thursday is the best. But if you have other writers, if it has to be edited, if someone else has to approve it, all these different things, you need to back schedule your milestones. So you need to know for a blog post to publish on a Monday, what milestones need to be reached the week before and even 2 weeks before to make that happen. So you're not all of a sudden on Monday, wait, where's the blog? I don't have it written. I don't have it done. It's not approved. So you need to make sure that you have that schedule done and figured out. Also what you need to do is to look at your content. And so you don't want to write about the exact same type of content, exact same topics every time. So for example, I try to keep my blog on Jamie's Notebook to talk about small business tips, writing, leadership, those kind of topics. Well, if I write about leadership 5 weeks in a row, well, that's not giving the other topics any kind of air. That's not meeting the needs of the people that want the other topics. And you're also going to bore people by talking about the same thing over and over and over and over. So that's the next thing you need to do, is to make sure that your content's diverse. And so what I do is I take my categories, or kind of my overarching topics, like small business, leadership, writing, community, those different things. And I do it week by week. And so 1 week I'll talk about leadership, one I'll talk about small business, and all of my clients do that. So say you're a photographer, 1 week you may want to talk about headshots, another week you may talk about family portraits. Just kind of keep your content diverse there. Finally, and this is the part that kind of gets people, this is the hardest part for people, is keeping an editorial calendar. And that, I may have just used a term that you're unfamiliar with. An editorial calendar is basically a schedule. That's just a marketing term for a schedule. When I was in the newspaper business, we called it a budget, which is a little weird because it had zero to do with money. So what you need to do, the editorial calendar is going to be the most intense calendar that you have. What it's going to be is it includes not only what the topic is, the category, what pictures you need, who's going to be doing the writing, who's doing the editing. It includes all the different players in that. And so you need to have that set up to where you know in advance who's going to be doing what and when they need to have it done by. So everyone's on the same page, and so that you can keep that going. Now, one thing about scheduling, things change. It's crazy. My happy medium with clients is that we schedule every quarter. So for example, we'll do, for this quarter, we're in the middle of the first quarter. So January, February, March blogs, those we've all scheduled out. And so we know what's going to happen. And so then in March, we'll create the schedule for April, May, and June. And that just keeps us organized. What I found is when we tried to schedule by the month, just schedule February's blogs and then March's blogs and then April's blogs, that just got to be too cumbersome. We were constantly in the planning mode and not as much in the execution mode. And so it just made more sense to do it by the quarter. We also had tried the other route, which was the opposite end, where we tried to plan for 6 to 8 months, even a year out. And stuff in business just changes too much. That's too much to try to plan that much. You can certainly plan certain things. So for example, with the holidays, you're going to know that you need something with around the holidays for your business. Now keep in mind, you're going to need to start talking about the holidays before the actual holidays, especially if you're talking about things that people need to plan. I know it drives people nuts, but you're going to have to start talking about Christmas in October or September, especially if your target audience is retailers or anyone that needs to get ready for the holidays. So keep that in mind when you're doing your schedule. Do it in a clumps amount of time. I suggest quarterly, but also keep in mind what's coming up. You don't want to suddenly be talking about the information at the time that it already needs to be executed. That's too late. So far we have talked about the whole idea of creating milestones so that you get the work done. We've also talked about making sure that you are keeping your content diverse and that you're covering all the different topics that you need to. And we've also talked about the editorial calendar that puts all these pieces together. And the editorial calendar, it just depends on what your situation is. And so for me, with most of my clients, it's just me and them. And so we use Microsoft Word. It's very simple. We keep it all in an email chain, and we just go back and forth with that email chain, and we know what the next item is. And if we make changes, we can go back in that same email chain and see what was said. If you're going to have more players than that, more, as I say, cooks in your kitchen, you are going to need something a little bit more complex. You can go with something that's in Excel and maybe put it on Google Drive, and so everyone has access. Another idea is to use a project management system. Project management system. I like Trello. It's Trello. There's different ones that you can do. I like that one because I like just the way it's structured. I also like that they have a great free plan that does not really limit you unless you are just really a big organization. Another tip is to use as much automation as possible. If you're using WordPress or any other kind of platform, they're more than likely going to have a scheduling system. So you can write these blogs and you can schedule them and then not worry about them. But also make sure that they are scheduled to go to your social media. If you're using Jetpack or one of the other plugins in WordPress, just make sure that all of that system is automated, or schedule a time each week that you're going to be taking care of those tasks. Finally, my last tip is get help if you need it. What's your hurt point? Where's the problem? Where's the cog there? For example, some of my clients, in fact, most of my clients, that's why my business exists, want help with the writing. So if you need help with the writing, figure out how to outsource that. If you are like me and you're great at the writing, but not so much at the scheduling, I know for my own blog, I've got my writing team has written multiple blogs that I have not scheduled yet. I need to hire someone to take care of that for me. I need to hire someone that's good at WordPress that will help me with that. So what's your hurt point? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Find someone that's good at it, and they will relieve your stress on that. And that's not just a don't worry, be happy. That's so you can get stuff done. You're wasting time and wasting money if you start this process and you don't keep it up. So what we've talked about today is mostly blogs, but you can really use this for any kind of online content or any content that you are putting out on a regular basis. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back with you. And again, this is Jamie Smith with Jamie's Notebook. Have a great day.